Hello, this is the user's data impactive method to delivery portion of video series 2. Users. This is information about your users. For the most part, you cannot intermix your users' data with your account's data, except for in the on-demand APIs. Only in the on-demand API can you send both sets of data in a single API call. And to further define that, by intermix, I mean that you are sending both account and user data. Customers often make this mistake when sending a CSV file. They include account and user data into the same file, which does not work with a CSV upload. When sending data about users, you must send the user ID and the account ID for the account. For all methods of delivery, the account and the user do not need to exist prior to you including them in the dataset. For the methods which are schemaless, the attribute that you are sending does not need to exist prior. For bulk API, the creation of the attribute must be included in the API call. If you do not include it in the API call, and you send an attribute which does not previously exist, you will receive an error message. As an example, if I wanted to send a CSV to Totango that account XYZ, user ABC, date of birth is 5/5/2020, all I need to do is send this data into Totango. I do not need to make sure that the account ID XYZ exists. I do not need to make sure that the user ID ABC exists. I also don't need to predefine the attribute date of birth. As with a CRM and CSV, you'll be prompted the first time the system sees the attribute to define its data type. Just like with account attributes, when doing an on demand API call, if the attribute type is text, you can send it without defining it. If it is numeric or date, you will need to define it within the Tango UI. The moment I send these values using CSV, the system will create the account if it doesn't exist, create the user if it doesn't exist, create the attribute date of birth if it does not exist, allowing me to set the data type in the UI and set this user on the account date of birth to 5/5/2020.